The fish that farms. Farming is supposed to be a human invention. We cleared the land, planted the seeds, drove off the pests, and harvested the results. We did this 10,000 years ago, and we have been congratulating ourselves about it ever since. It is, depending on who you ask, the foundation of civilization itself. Except there is a fish that has been doing it longer. A fish with no hands, no tools, no language, and no apparent interest in being impressive. It just farms. Every day, with complete commitment. In coral reefs across the Indo-Pacific, a small, aggressive, deeply territorial fish called the damselfish has built and maintained gardens, actual gardens, that it tends, protects, and harvests on a daily basis. And the more scientists study what it is doing, the harder it becomes to call it anything other than farming. Stay with me until the end, because this fish doesn't just grow food, it weeds, it fertilizes, it defends its crop from competitors, and it has been doing all of this since before humans existed, which raises a question that is genuinely uncomfortable. What exactly do we mean when we say something is intelligent? 1. Meet the damselfish. A centimeter of attitude and a surprisingly sophisticated plan. The damselfish, and there are many species, but the farming behavior is most pronounced in the long-fin damselfish and its close relatives, is not a large animal. It tops out at around 13 centimeters. It is brightly colored, reef-dwelling, and by most accounts, extremely bad-tempered. It will chase fish many times its size away from its patch of reef. It will charge at scuba divers. It has been described by researchers as one of the most aggressive animals, relative to its size, in the ocean. That aggression is not random. It is protecting something. Each damselfish maintains a small patch of reef, usually between 30 and 80 centimeters across, that it has converted, through constant labor, into a cultivated algae garden. Not just any algae, specific algae. The damselfish actively selects which species it allows to grow in its patch and removes the ones it does not want. It weeds its garden, daily, with its mouth. What grows in the patch is not what grows on the surrounding reef. It is a curated crop, and the fish eats from it, exclusively, every day. 2. The list of things this fish does that we normally only credit to farmers is genuinely startling. Let's just go through it because it needs to be heard in full. The damselfish selects its crop. It removes unwanted algae species by biting them off at the base, just as you would pull a weed. It fertilizes its garden. It defecates within the patch to add nitrogen to the substrate, which promotes the growth of the algae it prefers. It aerates the surface. It scrapes dead material from the reef to keep the growing surface clean and productive. It manages pests. It chases away other fish, sea urchins, and anything else that might graze on its crop. And it does not do this occasionally or by accident. Studies tracking individual damselfish have found that they spend the majority of their waking hours performing these tasks. The garden is not a side project, it is the entire enterprise. The fish is functionally a full-time farmer. What makes this even more remarkable is that the cultivated algae inside a damselfish's garden grows differently from the same species outside it. It is softer, more digestible, and more nutritious. The fish has not just chosen what to grow. Through its management practices, it has changed how the crop grows. That is not foraging. That is not instinct in any simple sense. That is husbandry. 3. The damselfish is not the only animal that figured this out, but it might be the most surprising. Leafcutter ants have been farming fungus underground for 50 million years. Ambrosia beetles cultivate fungi inside trees. Some species of snapping shrimp tend algae patches, in a way that looks remarkably similar to the damselfish. Agriculture, it turns out, is not a human invention. It is a solution that evolution has landed on repeatedly across wildly different animals over vast stretches of time. But the damselfish is different from ants and beetles in one important way. Ants and beetles are running on extraordinarily specialized hardware. Their entire nervous systems are built around the farming behavior. The damselfish is a vertebrate. It has a brain structurally similar to ours, vastly simpler but recognizably in the same family. When it makes a decision about which algae to remove and which to keep, something more flexible than pure instinct appears to be at work. Researchers have found that damselfish gardens vary between individual fish. Different fish grow different crops in different proportions. They respond to changes in their environment by adjusting their management. If that is pure instinct, It is the most sophisticated instinct we have ever observed in a fish. 4. There is a darker side to this story, and it involves coral reefs dying. Coral reefs are one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth, and they are in serious trouble. Bleaching events, warming oceans, and water acidification are killing coral at a rate that has alarmed marine biologists for decades. And here is where the damselfish becomes part of a complicated story rather than just a charming one. To make its garden, the damselfish kills coral. It scrapes the living coral from a patch of reef, removes the coral tissue, and converts the dead substrate into its growing surface. On a healthy reef with a balanced population of fish and coral, this is a minor disturbance. The reef can absorb it, but on a stressed reef, one already weakened by warming or bleaching, the damselfish's farming practices can tip patches of coral from recovery into permanent loss. The fish is not doing anything wrong in any meaningful sense. It is doing exactly what it has always done, but the context has changed around it. The reef that could once absorb 1,000 small gardens can no longer absorb them the same way. The farmer has become inadvertently a complicating factor in a crisis it did not create, which is, if you think about it, a situation that is not entirely unfamiliar. So the next time someone tells you that farming is what separates humans from the rest of the animal kingdom, you can tell them about the damselfish. 13 centimeters long, no hands, no tools, no language, tending its garden every single day, weeding and fertilizing and defending its crop from anyone who comes near. It has been doing this for longer than we have. It will, in all likelihood, be doing it long after we are gone. A fish the size of your finger, running a farm on the reef, completely unbothered by how impressive that is. If this changed how you think about what animals are capable of, share it. Someone in your life needs to know about the fish with a garden. And subscribe, because the natural world has a lot more of this waiting for you.